Okay, for this video I'm going to install the WDS role, which is Windows Deployment Services. We are going to configure it, and we're also going to set up a new machine using Windows Deployment Services. So we're going to go to Server Manager, go down to Roles, and we're going to add roles. Go down to the server roles. And we're going to select WDS, Windows Deployment Services. If it's a new server and you want to configure this one time, you have to actually install the Active Directory, DHCP, and the DNS before you actually go onto the WDS role. But seeing that I already have them installed, I just select the WDS and click next. Alright, so they give you a rundown, give you some things to note. It's the same thing I was saying. You need Active Directory, DHCP and DNS services available on the network before you install WDS. Okay, so you have to make sure these two are checked as well, deployment server and transport server. Click next and click install. The installation has been completed successfully. So you click close. Now on the server manager, we could drop down the roles. Now when we come to the deployment services, you should see that it's not configured. Now we're going to start administrative tools, and we go down to Windows Deployment Services. Alright, so they're letting you know it's not configured. So we got to go for the server and configure the server. Alright, so we right click and select configure server. Click next. Now when you're doing WDS, actually when I researched it, they said that the right thing to do when you creating the path for your images is to have it on a separate drive, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'll keep it on the C drive of the VM. So click next. So you see here they give you a warning that the volume is also the system volume, and Windows actually recommends that it be placed in a separate volume. But like again I said, we're gonna do it for the sake of the tutorial, so I'm gonna click next. Yeah, and I'm gonna click the two of those as well. Click next. And I'm gonna go with the least secure option for the tutorial to respond to all known and unknown client computers. Click finish. Okay, now you can deselect this. Okay, So now we have to add the boot image and the install image. So we're back on the Windows Deployment Services pane. Right clicking boot image, add boot image, select browse. Now I have my Windows 7 CD on my E drive. Sources. Boot Wim is the file we're looking for. Click open. Click next. I'll call this install image. I'm put the same thing here. Click next. Okay, so the image has finished being added to the server. We click finish. Now we have to go and create a capture image. So I go over to install image. Come back here. Now right click. And we're gonna select create capture boot image. I'm gonna name it capture image. I'm gonna click browse. I'm gonna go on the C drive. Remote install. Boot. And we're gonna go to x86 because it's a 32-bit operating system I will be installing. So we go to x86. Come to images. Then I'm gonna put capture image dot wim. Click open. Click next. Oh, and the reason why I'm actually making a capture image because I want to capture my already functioning Windows 7 client machine. I'm going to capture an image of that machine. So when I'm going to install, when I'm going to use the WDS to install on a fresh machine, it will have all the settings and the program that already installed on the machine that the image was captured from. You can also do the WDS to install a fresh installation, like just have the image of a fresh installation, but it comes in handy. And if you have a lot of computers on the network and they're all going to use the same programs, better you just install the programs on one, capture an image of it, and you can use that image to install on all the rest over the network. That saves you a lot of time from going to each machine to install applications and configure settings. Okay, so the image has been created successfully. So we click finish. Now we go to the client machine to prepare to capture the image. We need to run a program called sysprep that we can find in the C drive under the Windows folder System32. Here it is, sysprep. So we're gonna run this. But again, well, I need to log in with the administrator credentials to get access to run this. Alright, so we're leaving that like that. Select generalize, and we're going to choose shutdown for the shutdown options. And click OK, and that program does its magic. And all we have to do is wait now for it to complete. Computer will shut down, then we restart and we continue from there. Okay, so we started back the guest machine and we hit the F12 button as it boot up. Alright, when we boot from LAN, we hit the F12 button again and we go to capture image. Hit enter. You see the files loading here from the same capture image.wim file we created on the server. Okay, so this is the wizard came up here to capture the image. Select next. The volume to capture, we select D. Image name, we type Windows 7 image. Let's copy this. The image description, I'll put the same thing in the image description. Click next. I'm gonna click browse. Save the image on D. I'm going to name it Windows 7 .wim. Save. I'm going to select upload image to the WDS server. In the server, you can type the IP address of the server, and our IP address is 192.168.1.1. Click connect, and we're gonna have to enter the credentials to log in. Click connect. The image group, you select image group 1. Select next, and we wait for it to complete the upload. Okay, so the capture image has finished and the computer has rebooted. And what you have to do now is to create a new machine. So the image has finished capturing. Now what we have to do is create a new machine. WDS WDS test. Next, 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 next. Okay. And now we are to go into settings on the new machine. Just to change and put on that. And now the network. That's the internal network. Allow all. Just double check again. Okay. And now when we power it on, we hit F12. We don't need that. Hit F12, L, F12, and there we see it. Now we go on in the install image and select enter. Windows is loading files. We got to enter username. Hit enter. Oh. Now we select the Windows 7 image that we captured. Click next. Click next. So the installation has completed. On this part of it, and we see the Windows is starting up now. Installation has completed, and now and there you can see we have the Windows 7 installed, and there's the 7-zip that's already installed from our previous Windows. And that's how you do it. That's how you set up the WDS and capture the image of our already running